You woke up Saturday morning ready for qualifying at Echo Park Speedway, ready to see who had real speed, who was sandbagging, who was going to make a statement heading into Sunday. And then, just like that, rain and lightning wiped the entire session off the calendar. No laps, no pressure runs, no last-second drama, gone. Qualifying at Atlanta got completely washed out by rain. And when qualifying gets canceled at a place like Atlanta, it doesn't just cost fans an entertaining session. It changes the entire energy of the race weekend. It changes how teams approach Sunday. It changes how we read the grid. And this time, the ripple effects are massive. So NASCAR went straight to the performance metrics formula, the system adopted specifically for situations like this. For 2026, that system was slightly tweaked. It now works as a weighted average, 70% based on the car's finish in the most recent race, and 30% based on the car's position in the owner standings. That formula, with no qualifying laps run, set the entire starting lineup for the AutoTrader 400. And here is where things get truly interesting. Sitting on the pole for the AutoTrader 400 is Tyler Reddick. The number 4523 X1 Racing Toyota also gets the preferred pit box for the second race of the 2026 season. Reddick is coming off winning the Daytona 500 just 1 week ago. Winning the biggest race of the season puts you at the top of both the finishing metric and the championship standings, so when qualifying got rained out, the math handed him the #1 starting spot. Championship leader and Daytona 500 winner Tyler Reddick will start from pole position on Sunday. That is not a storyline anyone manufactured. The numbers simply produced it. Lining up directly beside him on the front row is Joey Logano in the number 22 Team Penske Ford. Logano won his dual race and finished third while crashing in the 500, which was enough to land him in that second starting spot. And that pairing on row 1 is genuinely spicy because Logano won the pole and the race in the first Atlanta event back in 2023. He knows how to control the air at this track. He understands how to manage the draft. His front row start is not random. It is backed by proven performance at this exact venue. But here is the twist that every fan needs to hear. Since that 2023 race, the pole winner at Atlanta has an average finish of 18th. Let that sink in. 18th. That single statistic tells you everything about what Atlanta has become since its reconfiguration. Atlanta now races like Daytona International Speedway and Talladega Superspeedway. Horsepower is throttled, the pack stays tight, and starting position does not guarantee anything. Clean air helps early, but this is pack racing. This is survival racing. You don't have to start first to be there with 10 laps to go. You just have to survive. Moving through the rest of the top 10, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will start third, Chase Elliott fourth, and Brad Keselowski fifth. Stenhouse at a drafting track is always a storyline worth tracking. He is one of the most aggressive drivers in pack racing situations, and that aggression cuts both ways. Elliott, meanwhile, is racing at his home track in Georgia, and the crowd at Echo Park Speedway is going to be loud for him, starting inside the top 5. Zane Smith, Chris Buescher, Riley Herbst, Bubba Wallace, and Josh Berry will fill out the remainder of the top 10. Keselowski in 5th is notable. He is one of the most calculated drivers in superspeedway-style chaos, and that starting position gives him real options early. Now, let's talk about the names buried deep in this field, because that is where some of the most compelling storylines live. Ross Chastain starts 21st. Coming off Saturday night's O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race, where he plowed into the back of Austin Hill's car on the final lap, knocking Hill off the lead and down to the apron, Chastain arrives at Sunday's Cup race carrying controversy. Ryan Blaney starts 22nd, Denny Hamlin starts 29th, Austin Cindric starts 30th, Connor Zeilish, one of the most talked-about rookies in the series, starts 31st. And then there is Christopher Bell, starting 32nd. That is the name to circle. Bell has speed almost everywhere, and at a track where the draft can carry a car from the back of the pack to the front in a matter of laps. 32nd is not a death sentence. If Bell hooks up with the right drafting partners, he has the talent and the car to slice through this field. Chase Briscoe starts 34th and Alex Bowman starts 36th. rounding out some of the deepest starting positions for recognizable Cup Series names. Some notables starting outside the top 20 include Ross Chastain in 21st, Ryan Blaney 22nd, Ryan Preece 26th, Shane Van Gisbergen 28th, Denny Hamlin 29th, Austin Cindric 30th, Connor Zilisch 31st, Christopher Bell 32nd, Chase Briscoe 34th, and Alex Bowman 36th. None of that means those drivers are out of contention. That is the entire point of what Atlanta has become. Because Atlanta races like a mini Daytona or Talladega, the starting grid is genuinely one of the least predictive elements of the outcome. Track position matters in the opening laps, but the draft reshuffles the entire field as the race develops. Being too aggressive at the front early can actually put a target on your back. Other teams will work together to get around the leader simply because controlling the air up front is so exhausting in pack racing. The pole winner since reconfiguration averages an 18th place finish. That is not a fluke. That is a pattern. The closest thing to a true upset winner at Atlanta since the reconfiguration came when Daniel Suarez won 2 years ago, and even that was considered a mild shock. Since the reconfiguration, we really haven't seen true shock winners here. Usually the big hitters find their way to the front when it matters, but the draft gives every driver a legitimate path, and that is what makes this lineup, with Bell at 32nd, Hamlin at 29th, and Blaney at 22nd, so worth watching. Saturday's O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at Echo Park Speedway served as a direct preview of what Sunday could bring. Sheldon Creed, after a career defined by runner-up finishes in this series, finally broke through to win in a thriller, but the race itself was defined by chaos, tire failures triggering massive wrecks, driver errors cascading through the pack, and late-race contact reshaping the entire outcome. Sam Mayer had a tire go down from the race lead. Sammy Smith got bitten. Austin Green, Corey Day, Taylor Gray. The incidents kept coming. Rookie Corey Day had a particularly rough night, triggering multiple incidents including one that collected Carson Kvapil and Justin Allgaier simultaneously. And then Chastain ended Austin Hill's shot at victory on the final lap. It wasn't the dominating race for RCR that we all thought it would be. They recovered and were in the mix late, but the chaos of the track claimed multiple contenders before the checkered flag. Atlanta does not care about expectations. It does not care about starting position, momentum, or reputation. It rewards survival. Which brings everything back to Sunday and the central question, does Reddick make it back-to-back? He won the Daytona 500, he starts from pole, he leads the championship. The momentum is real and measurable. But Atlanta has shown repeatedly that momentum means nothing once the pack tightens up with 5 laps to go. Logano's front row position gives him a legitimate shot to replicate 2023. Elliott's home track energy in 4th is a factor. And somewhere back in 32nd, Christopher Bell is going to be working the draft, looking for the right moment and the right partner to make a run. Championship implications start building early in the season. Momentum matters, points matter. Playoff positioning starts earlier than people think. Every single driver in that 38-car field knows that Week 2 results carry real weight. Rain took qualifying away, the metric formula set the grid, and now Sunday belongs to whoever survives Atlanta's chaos long enough to see the white flag.